venue with reduction.
I think it's more than retouching.
But it's all faded.
Right. It was more like getting.
Hey, Chris, how are you doing?
I'm thinking.
Sorry. Jake, can you call the order for the meeting? And roll call, please.
Yes. Commissioner Silvera.
Hi. I'm
Commissioner
present.
Burns,
Here.
Commissioner Clavaux,
Here.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Present.
Vice Chair Newkirk,
Here.
Chair Armstrong,
Hello, here.
and Commissioner Shelton.
Did you call Tom?
I did.
No, you didn't.
Commissioner Burns.
Here.
Okay. We have a presentation this evening from the El Rancho Vista Estates Chinatru Trail Gateway Park.
Hi, my name is Janice Kleinschmidt, and I'm here with Linda Karen, who's also a member of the park. So we're here. Can you press the button so we can all hear you?
Great.
Yes. So Linda Karen and I are here on behalf of El Rancho Vista Estates Neighborhood Organization to present a proposal for public art in the park at the east end of our neighborhood. At the southwest corner of Gene Autry Trail and Vista Chino is a monument sign for Palm Springs. The 1.72 acre Gateway Park was created from federal stimulus funds in 2009. The intention to include public art never materialized, so you have an opportunity to fulfill that plan 14 years later. Given high visibility along the roadway that sees a conservative estimate of 38,000 vehicles a day, the park serves as an ideal location for public art, especially since traffic often backs up at a major intersection light. El Rancho Vista Estates is an enclave of mid-century modern homes with a concentration of 70 homes that were designed by the architectural firm of Wexler and Harrison and developed by Roy Fay in 1960. As such, we offer Modernism Week tours, during which tourgoers walk through the park to access one street to the next. We're here to propose a concept that could become another Palm Springs attraction. And we believe it is time for the city to cultivate a sculpture garden. To aid the commission in creating its legacy in that regard, we have identified an initial trio of artworks. So I'll talk about those as well. This first one is a concept from C.J. Wrench of Hood River, Oregon, who for years has been juried into the La Quinta Arts Festival and also has private collectors throughout the Coachella Valley. He's provided us with some renderings based on a sculpture that he's already made. And the costs for this, as well as the others, are in the written proposal. He could do it in either 8-foot or 10-foot scale. And the next one. And it's shown in situ there. Okay, this one is a smaller piece, and it is by Karen and Tony Baroni of Rancho Mirage, whom I'm sure you're familiar with. They're well known locally, primarily though for their large-scale depictions of cats, dogs, and rabbits. They currently have a human sculpture, human figure sculpture in the current El Paseo sculpture exhibition in Palm Desert. That's C.J. Wrench's,
Sorry.
that's okay. The other one you were looking at earlier were alternate designs, and the one he just put up there was one that he's already created. That's in Palm Desert in a private collection. That's the alternate needs to us.
Okay, bring them up.
And she wanted to know how. Okay, this is a sculpture by Los Angeles-based artist Brad Howe. He was born in Riverside and began working with architecture students while pursuing a double major at Brazil's University of Sao Paulo. He has about 100 private collectors in the Coachella Valley, and his work resides in museums and corporate collections globally. We're proposing a sculpture in the style of this work, but in colors that would make it pop. Oh, that's for cars driving along Geometry Trail. And again, he could create this in either 8 or 10 feet. So to give you an idea of how the sculptures might look in the park, we created a mock-up of the pieces in situ. Just that, and that's the park without sculptures in. Okay, so there we are. As you can see, we have the mountain backdrop. The park extends along Geometry Trail, so it's right on the roadway there. There are multiple locations for art. We just marked this up to give you just an idea of what it could look like.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
Orient us on here. Where's the monument sign?
the monument sign would be north, so it's to your right. And the park goes from Vistachino to all the way to the other end of our neighborhood. So it's long and somewhat narrow. It's quite a rectangle.
There's also the bocce ball.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so the prices and a little more detail is in the written proposal, again, with options for 8 or 10 feet scale. So we are requesting that the commission recommend to the city council the installation of these works as the genesis of a sculpture garden in Gateway Park.
I just have a couple questions, because Jay and I were going back and forth on this when we got the proposal, and he wasn't quite sure of the financing. So we've done situations like this, one in Las Palmas, where the community came to us with a proposal saying they wanted artwork in their community, and we gave them almost like a starter fee of $5,000 per piece of artwork, and then they raised the rest of the money themselves. And that's how they did it. So are you suggesting we fund the entire installation, or are you contributing funds to this?
Ideally, I'm aware of those projects, or that one in particular. We are not an HOA, we're a neighborhood organization, one of the city's neighborhood organizations. And we don't have the funds for the whole project. We could perhaps pitch in, like you did the starter fee, we could pitch in a little something just to show our dedication and our commitment to it. But we don't have those funds. The only money we have is what we raise from artists and tour. We don't collect dues from anyone. And we don't have a clubhouse. We're not a gated community.
Yeah.
And we have several owners that live outside the area. They either rent out their properties or their weekend getaways. So we don't have that base.
One of the things I'm going to be addressing in my remarks later is that we're finding, as we do these installations, the cost of the artwork is roughly 70% of the fee. That by the time we get in installation and lighting and signage and all these other things that aren't included. So we have to consider everything in totality, not just the cost of the art.
Right, I understand that. Yes.
And then maintenance, of course. Okay.
I have a quick question. That Las Palmas, you said Las Palmas?
Correct.
Is that a city park that they put it in?
No.
So that's private property in their neighborhood. We're proposing for the city park.
No, it's
No,
not private.
it's not a park, it's on city property.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yes,
Immediate.
yeah.
Oh, I see.
And what they did is they donated it to the city. And that way, the city's responsible, it's part of our permanent collection, and we're responsible for maintenance of it.
Well, one thing that we have going for us at the park is, as I said, that traffic, 38,000 vehicles, and that's just on Chinook Trail, plus the fact that it's a monument at the Palm Springs Gateway. People coming in from Desert Hot Springs or off the I-10 on Chinook. So it's got that high visibility. And again, it was initially, the park when it was put in, was supposed to have public art. That was the plan.
So we can't really vote on anything right now. We have to put it as an agenda item or an action item. This is just a presentation. But we can talk about it as a commission in our January meeting. My question for you is, would you consider us moving forward with this, but with different artists?
Yes, we are proposing these because we do want something. It's not we don't own the park, so we can't say that. We were trying to be helpful and also keep in the mid-century modern aesthetic of our neighborhood. So we were considering that. We would prefer to have art that does fit that, as opposed to something that pops. We want color.
Yeah.
Because we put something that's a rock or just, just silver, it's not, I don't think it's gonna show up that well there.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
So the next step, it would be on the January agenda. Is there anything else you need from us? Do you need to talk to the artists?
What we would do in January is we would have a commission discussion on it, whether we think it's feasible and what we would need to do to make it feasible. And I can't even predict what the commission would say. We've got one teleconference and one's missing. So they may feel we should do it as a welcome to Palm Springs, and it should be all Palm Springs artists. They could feel any number. I don't know. But that will be in the discussion we have next month.
Okay. All right. Well, do you need anything from us?
Jay will probably reach out to you for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Acceptance of the agenda. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the agenda as presented.
I'd like to second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Public comments. This time has been set aside for members of the public to address the Public Arts Commission on items of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission, and agenda items if the member of the public cannot be present later in the meeting at the time the item is heard by the commission. Additionally, members of the public may address the commission on each item listed on the posted agenda at the time each item is heard. Although the Public Arts Commission values your comments pursuant to the Brown Act, it generally cannot take any action on items not listed on the posted agenda. 3 minutes are assigned to each speaker. Jay, do we have any public comments?
Do we have any public comments?
Yeah.
Please come forward
We're not supposed to sign anything.
and state your name, please.
Hi, my name is John Williams, and I'm the beautification chair for the Old Las Palmas Neighborhood Organization, and I have here with me tonight Dan Kaiser, who is the chair of our neighborhood organization in Old Las Palmas. And I'm here, first of all, for three things really. First, to say thank you for your support. Red Dragon is in. Has everybody been by to see it? Have you seen it yet? I'm sure you've probably driven by, but take a minute and park your car and go get a coffee and walk over and look at it. It really is quite impressive. We're very, very pleased with it. So thank you. Secondly, I'd like to invite you, and I think you all know about this as well, to come on the 10th of January at 11:30. We're having the dedication and gifting ceremony. We are gifting the art piece to the city of Palm Springs. So again, January 10th, it's a Wednesday, and it's at 11:30 in the morning. And the third thing is I'm here to sort of plant the seed. I know this is public comments, we can't discuss it tonight, but our goal is really to turn this into a multi-sculpture installation, as we've had discussions with you, I know, Gary, in the past. And we have actually worked with our artists, and these are not in stone, but these are just some ideas. One is called Blue Bear. This is one that we might consider. Another one is called Robin Rabbit. All these would coordinate with Red Dragon. There's a third one that's called Tweety Bird. which is also quite interesting. And as you know, we did a joint installation. The sculpture cost $25,000. The neighborhood contributed $20,000, and you graciously contributed $5,000. So thank you very much for that. Those funds primarily came from our house tours, which I might suggest is a source that this neighborhood might consider. And we had a couple of house tours, and we donated some to charity and we donated some to art. But moving forward, we're going to ask you to consider perhaps being a more generous partner. We paid for 80% of this sculpture. 4 more is what our goal is. That's $100,000. I don't think we can come up with $100,000, but one at a time. We would hope that the Arts Commission would hopefully do 60%, or maybe we can split it half and half. So I'm here to just plant that seed and hope you'll think about that. So thanks for your time. Appreciate you listening to me. I want to work with you, Gary, and see how we make the next steps if we get this on the agenda for one of the future meetings. And we'll look forward to seeing you all on the 10th of January for this dedication. So.
Can I just finish John's thing? I don't know where we are on time. To get the neighborhood support, it is really essential that we have the support from the Arts Council, because that shows energy. And then we can go to our neighborhood and get people involved for our house tour, or to donate individually and get this job done. But if we come out there and say, this is what we're going to do, it looks like, oh, this is like another old Las Palmas thing, like, ho hum, let's go have another party, you know, which they would rather do. But when it comes from the Arts Commission, as if there is the city is making some commitment to it, it gives us the energy and the impetus to get this done. And that's what we hope for. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you.
And speaking of holidays, we have to go.
Any other public comments?
Remote from the chair. I don't really have anything to say. I know this is shocking. I'm going to be commenting on some things elsewhere that are agenda items, so I'll turn it over to Barry.
Mine are brief as well. I just wanted to note that I was on hand a few weekends ago for the installation of a new piece in the downtown area across from the museum. The only other thing by local artist Madabi. It was kind of fun to be there for the installation. If you haven't been downtown lately to see it, it's a big stainless steel piece that instantly was getting engagement from people visiting downtown and people taking photographs in front of it. So check it out. That's all.
Public hearing. Do I read this or do you, Jay?
That would be you. That would be you, Mr. Chair. Just give me a moment to pull up the revised image, please.
I'll read slowly. Consider resolution number 23-001. Mural, a resolution of the Public Arts Commission of the City of Palm Springs, California, approving an art mural application for Whimsical Mid-Century Palm Springs from Canyon Fund LLC by Fat Flag Art Supply, located on the east parking lot facing elevation of the perimeter wall at 310-320 North Palm Canyon Drive, case 23-01 MUR.
Commissioners, you had previously reviewed this proposed proposal for a mural, and several revisions have been made. And we've got the applicant here to maybe go over and review what those revisions are. And if you give me a moment, I will put it on the share screen also. So hopefully Commissioner Burns will be able to see it if you can't see it over.
Jay, I reviewed it. If you can't do it, I do remember it. I remember seeing it. Yeah, I got it.
Thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Chair and Commissioners. My name is Joseph Jonathan, the applicant here this evening for this mural application. As Mr. Barada noted previously, we brought this to the commission several months ago, received feedback from the commissioners, and attempted our best to incorporate all those items into this newly revised mural. So just again, as a background, this is a privately financed with zero public funding or public financing attempt to put a mural on the rear side of a commercial building that runs along Palm Canyon Drive in downtown Palm Springs. We have a female artist that designed this and a minority business owner that will be installing the mural if approved. And several of the things that were brought up by commissioners, I feel contributed to make this a better presentation for what we have this evening. We had some, I think, even typographical errors that were in the original version that have been removed. We had I think we had a lack of additional cultural items that could be included on here on this map, and in sort of an alphabetical and no other order, I wanted to note some of these that we have on here, including the tramway, Bighorn Sheep, Bob Hope Golf Cart, the Bob Hope House, Cabazon Dinosaurs, the Kauai Indian Hut, the Camelot Theater, the Coachella Valley Savings and Loan, the Elvis Honeymoon Hideaway, the F-117 Nighthawk, Kaufman House, Caraccia Pensione entrance, Las Cascolas Terraza, the Marilyn Monroe statue, the McCollum Adobe, the Oasis Water Park slide, the O'Donnell House, the Air Museum, the Palm Springs Airport Tower, the Art Museum, City Hall, the Palm Springs Tennis Club, the Palm Springs Visitor Center, the entrance to the Parker, the Pink Elephant Car Wash sign, Pink and Orange Doors, Pioneer Town, the Plaza Theater, Roadrunners, the Saguaro, Salvation Mountain, Secay Springs, the Sonny Bono statue, Sunnylands, Tiki's, the Toucan Head, and windmills, in addition to other items that you may see on there. So we try to incorporate quite a few things, both past and present, as a nod to the generous history that we have in our city of Palm Springs.
I think it looks really good.
Thank you.
You know, as you said, when I know we threw a lot of things at you, like I was like, oh, typos, you know, this and that. And I believe Shonda said more cultural components in there. And we said, you know, the names are gone, which is great. So then there's no liability issue. I think it looks really good. Did Kat do this?
She did not. This was an artist originally that we found. She did some other Palm Springs art, and she's based out of England. Okay, so I think that probably contributed to even how she spelled different things that she didn't realize for here in the valley.
I think it's a solid piece, and I would even consider doing other things with this piece of artwork.
Mr. Chair, as this is a public hearing, if you would please open the public hearing and we'll see if there's any public comments.
Okay. Is there any public comments on this mural? Anybody online?
Mr. Chair, we do not have any public comments and we can't close the public hearing.
Any comments from the other commissioners before we vote?
I just want to say, I think he did a great job revising it, and I'm really thrilled with it. I think it's wonderful.
It's very nice.
Yeah, I'd like to second that too. Thank you. Yeah, great job at you included so much, and even expanded beyond Palm Springs, and I think it's great that you have the arrows sort of pointing off the map, and the artistic style of the buildings that you've used is just so cute. I'm a big fan. I want like little 3D miniatures of all of them.
Any other comments before we vote?
No, I like it. I think it's very whimsical. I like it.
Great. Shonda?
Yeah, it'll be a nice addition. It's interesting how other people outside of our community see our community and being able to convey that same energy that we have. I'm hoping that we'll get more pieces that are this fun.
My only creative comment, but I'm not gonna hold this up for, is that the beige background with Palm Springs, it may fade, because this will get the morning sun. And that's just something for the artist to be aware of. And maintenance issues, because that color looks like it could fade pretty quickly, and then the Palm Springs being in white may not pop. But as I said, I'm not gonna hold it up for that. That's just a maintenance issue.
We've received some confidence from Flat Black Art Supply will be the installation, and given their experience, they feel comfortable with the color palette.
I believe we can close the public hearing and then proceed to vote.
Would anyone like to make a motion to approve this mural for resolution 23-01 NUR?
I'd like to make a motion to accept Whimsical Mid-Century Palm Springs.
Second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Motion
congratulations.
passes.
Thank you very
As I said,
much.
I would consider other elements, other items with that artwork.
It's the art is now, it's owned and licensed fully by Canyon Fund, by the owner of the property, so we have the ability, if the city wants to incorporate it in marketing or anything else, we have that ability.
Great, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jay. Sure. Approval of the minutes from the meetings of November 15th, 2023. Are there any changes to those minutes? No. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes from November 15th, 2023?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from November 15th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. First one done. Okay.
My name was spelled correctly.
Next item, select new regular meeting date for the Public Arts Commission. Now, this is a complicated scenario. We have meetings at the same time as the Airport Commission, and Commissioner Ramirez is pulling his very thick, dark hair out, trying to deal with stuff with the Airport Commission, because when something that we do here gets bumped a month for whatever reason, it then gets bumped 2 months for the Airport Commission. And so we've got some murals that have been waiting for approval for easily 4 months now. And as everybody knows, we're going to be having a lot more artwork involving the airport and dealing more work with the Airport Commission. The other value is the city staff and city manager and city lawyer generally attend the Airport Commission meeting. And they would like to come to ours on occasion, but they can't. So for us to move, it's easier than, and then we get the attention and visibility. Now we could insist that they move, but they have 20 members. We have 7. So Jay went through the whole process to figure out when the room is available, when there's no commitments and everything, and there is a meeting that we can take.
The only available night for an additional meeting is the first Thursday of the month. So the next first Thursday would be January 4th.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we vote, I would like Jay to talk about the commission attendance procedures that were approved by council last week.
We're actually still awaiting instructions from the city attorney on this, but in general, city council and commissions will be reverting back to the pre-pandemic procedures, the regular Brown Act procedures that commissioners need to be present in public at the meeting. And then in certain circumstances, they may attend remotely, but if they do attend remotely, the agenda would have to be posted at that location. That location would have to be accessible to the public, and that location would have to be accessible for handicapped individuals. So it's kind of a number of things to qualify a place as a location for participating remotely.
So regardless if we move the date or not, it will be in-person meetings. And if you have to teleconference in, you can't do it from your walk-up apartment or your car or anything like that. You need to be in. If you happen to be traveling for work, you would have to maybe do it from a hotel lobby or library or something like that. You can do it from your hotel room, I guess, but I don't think you want it open to the public. So that all being said, that's no matter if we move it or not, that's as of January. And as Jay said, the city lawyer will put this all in context, but I wanted people to know that so that when we are voting, that this is happening regardless. So if we move our meeting date to the first Thursday of every month, would someone like to make a motion to move our meeting to the first Thursday of every month?
Would that be at 5:30?
Yeah, Michael, 5:30.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that the Palm Springs Public Arts Commission moves its regular monthly meeting to the first Thursday of the month at 5:30 p.m. at City Hall.
In the large conference room.
In the large conference room.
I'd like to second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you.
So then we have our next meeting in
January 4th.
January 4th, which hopefully then Chris will be able to get everything ready to go through your airport.
That's good.
Good.
See everyone in 2 weeks.
And speaking of the airport work, Commissioner Ramirez, selection of the Palm Springs Airport mural.
Yes, so I just wanted to reread the original prompt that was sent out to just to the open call of any artist. So with the bold color palette and the phrase Palm Springs welcomes you or welcome to Palm Springs, this mural will give thousands of travelers who pass through the airport's concourse each day a first glimpse of a Palm Springs welcome message incorporating the valley's brand, rich cultural history, color, and inclusion. Designed with vivid and complementary colors that speak to the beauty and diversity of the people and sites in our area, this mural will illustrate the welcoming spirit of the greater Palm Springs community and encourage visitors to document themselves in front of the art and post on their social media accounts. This mural will be redesigned and reapplied on an annual basis. So we have two revisions. Let's see here.
Commissioner Ramirez, I have the original
Oh, the original.
and then examples of the other artwork that the artists have done. I don't know that I have the revisions for these.
So I believe your assistant sent out an email 2 days ago with the latest revisions to the commission. That's it back here.
They're on the agenda, they're in the packet.
Oh yeah, here we go. So the main revisions of both these murals was to extend to the right side, so where the drinking fountain was. So with mural number 1 of Palm Springs, which has extended, says welcomes you. I'll read a few notes here from the artist. It says airplane to represent the airport, cool float style welcomes you font, and then desert landscape and minimalist design aesthetic. And again, you can kind of read the notes below this first mural on Palm Springs postcard, and you can see the representation. This is a sketch, and then if you go on to option 2, the revised mural moved the text from the right side over to the left side. So on the revised, it says welcome to Palm Springs. And kind of focuses on the airport.
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, it's different.
But
So there are those two options.
yes,
It is the same artist.
two different. So one artist for the first option and then the
They're
second.
very different styles, right?
Very different styles. And so just wanted to, so Option number 2 is, it looks like a digital versus option 1, is more of a sketch drawing, so you can kind of see the differences there. Just going back to the prompts, I mean, they're both great murals, and I happen to have worked closely with both of these artists just through this process. So I think, you know, whether we find space for this or future projects, it could be awesome to incorporate these 2 artists into the community. I don't know if we want to open this up to discussion here with the commission, or what are our thoughts?
Would the water fountain be painted with the background colors? Can we do that? Or will stand out as this great thing?
Just be stand out. What do you think? Yeah, it's kind of like
it's gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna be there. I don't think we can.
Okay.
We don't want to camouflage it. Sure. I'll go first with my comments. Because this is the first time we're going in for something like this in the Airport Commission, and they're very proud of their mid-century heritage and building. I lean towards the one that's more sort of clip art, comic book graphic, whatever you would call that, with the 3 workers. The cleaner look. It just feels more mid-century to me. I have to say though, I liked the muralist when he was here at our last meeting. This may be the sort of approach we could go at future iterations of this, but right now I think we need to go a little more straightforward. Is my guess.
Can I share my opinion? I think, again, I agree with Chris. I think both of these artists are very good. There's places for both of them, but what I keep coming back to is part of the requirement for the art, which is we want something that's photographable, that people will use for social media. And I think that, as much as I understand, Gary, where you're coming from with the strong graphic element, I think the more inclusive one, the first version, I think that looks more like a postcard. I think there will be more opportunity for people to be photographed in front of that one. But that, you know, so I look at it as fulfilling what the purpose of the requirement of the artwork was supposed to be, and I think the first one serves that purpose more.
Are we talking about the same piece? I think. Which is the first one for you?
The first one is kind of the more postcard handwritten-ish kind of drawing, and the second one for mine was the graphic one that you're referring to.
Any other comments?
It's a tough one. I think the first one is more creative. The second one, it seems that I've seen that so many times. But I see your point. This is more like the perfect mural to be in an airport. And it's retro, it's Palm Springs, but I've seen this so much already. But yeah, I agree. And again, this sketch here, this second part, you can barely see what colors. It looks pretty bad. I mean, in what ways this go?
You know, that's my other hesitation with the other. I'm not sure how
I agree with sketch, but how sketch will be.
You know, sketching to finish the work. I still don't have a handle on how impactful and clean it will look. As I said, but I like his energy when he was here. I just think knowing the Airport Commission, knowing how they want art, but at the same time, they're not ready to jump into this crazy thing.
Yeah.
I would go for something a little impactful and safer.
It is Palm Springs identity. Yeah. It's just,
yeah, I just want to make a note. Yeah, so this obviously is a sketch on the first one versus option two, kind of the mid-century is more of a computer graphic, so you can obviously kind of see. So again, how it will translate, yet to be seen.
So my reaction was a little bit kind of the opposite, in that the first one, the hand-drawn one, felt to me like something we had seen before. It reminded me a little bit of the mural downtown, the Desert Glow mural by Sephora. And it's great to see like another mural that's incorporating like different iconography and images of Palm Springs and how different artists use that. And here, you know, he's incorporating it into the lettering, which is great. I do favor the other one. Because it sort of is using the airport and the staff of an airport to greet people, it sort of feels very relevant to the location we're considering for this particular one. So I guess I just lean very heavily towards that one.
Sean, any comments?
Yeah, after that comment, I'm kind of like, oh, I don't like this mural as much. Only because when you say it's like the staff greeting Palm Springs, and we want to include like an inclusiveness. So that would be my worry with this particular one. It kind of still lends itself to a weird kind of inclusivity that there's a gray area I'm not sure you guys are seeing. So
to me, it harkens back to like the golden age of air travel, where you had these like sort of glamorous staff and like it was very posh, and you had this like feel like private jet set 1960s, like debarking from the plane.
Yeah,
I
get all that, but that also has a resonance of a time of inclusivity. So to keep on with that message isn't the
Yes, I think
message.
that idea. I know what you mean.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the part that I believe that we're missing. In a perfect world, I'd like a collaboration of both of the artists doing this. And it could lend itself to that, but this is still that same note that I just feel like Palm Springs has more rhythm and a beat, and there's more of a heartbeat here than we're allowing to come through.
So this will be up for 1 year.
Yeah.
And then we will select another one.
Yeah.
Even though that's that's a long year of having that same thing. I mean, there's something better that, yeah, I don't agree with that same pastime. I believe that it should come into a more of a modern era, and this doesn't depict that for me. It's still the same kind of homogeneous note.
I will state that the airport is a historic building.
Oh yeah, I know
of
all
that,
of that.
Era, and that they're expanding that more of that era. And
yeah, I know it's the note that you want to keep on beating, but I'm letting you know it's reverberating weird.
So just to hop in, so just rereading the prompt, just wanted to make notes. So, at first glimpse of the Palm Springs welcome message, incorporating the valley's brand, rich cultural history, color, and inclusion. Colors that speak to the beauty and diversity of the people and sites in our area. This mural will illustrate the welcoming spirit of the greater Palm Springs community and encourage visitors to document. So if we look at those comments, right, this seems to be airport. I mean, it's a great aesthetic. I do love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful for that.
Right.
if you still want to convey that note.
Right. When I do look at mural number one, to me, it looks a little bit, you know, I mean, it obviously incorporates a lot more, I think, of what the prompt articulated, which is inclusion. I mean, you can see the flags here, you can see a lot of notes to the plants, to the lifestyle of tennis. It looks like film, entertainment. I'm seeing a tramway up there, the casino, pools, golfing. So if this is going to be a welcome message to Palm Springs, to me, I believe mural one seemed to cover the prompt a little bit more about color, inclusion, the Valley's brand, the greater Palm Springs, not just the airport. My notes.
I see that. I would request that we get a tighter execution of this one. I think
Yes, I agree.
Go to the airport commission and council. This just looks a little too rough,
Yes,
particularly
particularly the second one here.
portion.
That's unacceptable.
And I think we just need a little more detail and a little more professionalism.
Yeah, we need the font. We need our Palm Springs font. What we love about the second one is that font that really speaks to. And if this artist can, you know, come across with our Palm Springs font that.
Yeah, but this one
with
is
his
more the
own
sketch
style.
style. I don't think we
Yeah.
can use that font.
But I mean, that artist can create cleaner lines that it looks.
Yes,
like
I think
That's
the
what I'm
sketch,
trying to
even
say.
the first one, he did it, I think, with those how do you call those markers? I'd like to see something a little bit more definite how to be. Can he get some acrylic paint and do the flat colors? Because he said they'll be all flat colors.
Yeah.
Can he do something better, or I don't know. Especially this one, Chris. This is bad.
Well, just to
It's a
make note, I
different
mean,
creative take, we should say.
and just to make a note, I mean, mural two that we're looking at right now was done on the computer, so obviously there is clear lines versus
Someone actually drawing in freehand,
actually
so
drawing freehand,
yeah,
so you can see
is there a way for this artist to put it into a computer and clean it up somehow?
Yeah.
That if, you know, with all the technology.
So we have a better
we have
idea of
now,
how it will be, yeah.
that has that visual impact that we're looking for, because the way this is looking doesn't have that impact that we're all craving.
Yeah.
And when you land in Palm Springs, you want to see that impact, like, you know, a little bit like how we saw the other graphic. It's along that same note, but we want with the airport to strike, you know, a nicer reverberation. This artist, like you said,
So
had that
it'd be like
beautiful
this,
energy,
right?
and we want that.
It would
to
be
come
like
out.
this.
If that's
There's
what
a
we're,
huge,
if that's what we want from
yeah.
artists, then we should stipulate
There's a
that
huge difference
in the
between the first and the
request that
second.
they need to use computer graphics, because anytime we get something that's hand drawn, we get into this discussion about, well, what's it really gonna look like in the end.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
But I'm saying, I don't think we should expect that of every artist.
Yeah, because there are artists who may not be great digitally.
And again, I want to reiterate the context of this is the first endeavor, so it must be clear. If it's clear, we gain the trust of all people approving it. It needs to then go to the airport commission, airport staff, and then airport commission, and then council. So there's a lot of steps of the way that you just can't make this leap of faith that, oh no, this will look pretty, trust me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, going through all those avenues, they really need that visual impact, and we need that. Give the artist that respect, like, hey, we trust you,
Right.
give us that impact on paper, so when it goes across all the desks,
Yeah.
we are not stuck with.
Commissioner Burns has his hand up.
I'm sorry?
Tom.
Oh, yeah. So what I'm hearing, guys, is that, and ladies, Chris, maybe the instruction to go back to the first artist is, I mean, you know, the very first mural that we approved this evening, you know, had a very good, strong graphic element to it, and just maybe show him this is what, you know, obviously this flew through the commission, and this is what, you know, if you can kind of incorporate this type of graphic into your artwork, that probably would better serve what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish.
I hesitate from having one artist look at another artist's work, particularly when they're in competition with each other. I think you can just state that it needs to be a little more accurate with how it's going to look when it's completed. And we want stronger a stronger, more sensitive typography. Treatment.
I mean, there it looks a lot better than what we're seeing here, but then it's gonna look totally different than when it's gonna go on the wall, and we want that wall impact.
And we also need to have the confidence that what he does here is gonna be the way it looks when it is, you know, 10 feet tall.
It's almost like when he presented this last time, the welcomes you was together with Palm Springs.
Yeah.
And then we asked him to do the welcome to, and that's what he did.
Okay,
So that worries us.
Yeah.
That worries
my
me.
question is, if we're giving them this feedback, can you go back, Jay, to the Palm Springs? Is there anything else that we want to have them consider? Like, is polo something that we want to highlight? The polo brands are in Indio.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up. What else would we want to like replace that with?
I'm not
Golfer?
sure. I just don't know. But my question is polo something that we think is important?
Pickleballer?
Yeah.
What is the P in Springs? What is that?
That's the casinos.
That looks.
So the film festival, the casinos.
Those are coins in the P?
It looks like
That tea.
it looks like a martini or
Oh.
like
Oh, yeah.
Oh, definitely cocktail time, Palm Springs is like, okay.
So it seems so I don't know if we agree on this, but it seems like the aesthetics are different, right? One is computer done,
Yeah.
one is hand drawn, but
Yeah.
this seems to represent more of the greater Palm Springs. It's not just people coming into Palm Springs, people, going to the east side, going to, Cathedral City.
Can Marilyn Monroe be behind the L?
Maryland gets enough time.
Well, polo.
And I have nothing against polo. I know it's big for Indio.
Yeah, I know, but it's.
But the question, is that one of the things that we want to highlight? I don't know. I also would suggest maybe a better representation of a car. That looks a little funky to me.
Yeah, that car, yes.
I like the car.
Yeah.
So there, I mean,
No,
we
it's
just
just,
need to
but
play. No,
I
I
want
get
to
it.
vote,
I get it.
So, now's our chance to make any other content revisions.
Do we want to include Greater Palm Springs versus just Palm Springs?
This is paid for by Palm Springs.
So yeah, the polo guys gotta go.
Yeah. If it were Greater Palm Springs, that'd be the Greater Palm Springs Chamber of Commerce.
Right, so yeah, I understand
Yeah,
what you're
that's the
saying with
thing that's
that.
gonna be on the L.
So,
Would we,
See a mountain.
would we suggest going back and making a revision to the L and also seeing if the artist can do it digitally to clean up some sort of work, or what do you recommend?
It would be nice if this is the artist's work. If he can create like the template or something that, this is what it's gonna be painted like, like a miniature piece of artwork. That
Yes,
the
I don't think
commission
maybe-
can like really like look at his work the way we're seeing it in color.
Maybe he's not good doing this digitally. This is fine to me. I mean, I can see the colors, I can see pretty much, and it's kind of nice. That's a sketch. But it's the second one that I have problems with it. I would like to see the whole thing like this, and how he's going to incorporate welcomes you in a way that
So the welcome is.
looks
at the
as
same
nice as the
time.
first
Okay, I
one.
see what you mean too.
There's nothing
Yeah,
going on here.
Yeah.
maybe instead of polo, he can work in a hiker or something of outdoor physical
Or sheep.
activity.
Yes.
Our bighorn sheep.
Yeah,
Maybe.
something that, people come to Palm Springs to go hiking or running or biking. Not polo.
Okay, that's good feedback. Okay.
And is there a way to do the welcome you, like the font of the Palm Springs, so we get more of, you know, landmarks in it than just the welcome you? So the welcome you would look like the way he did Palm Springs, the lettering, and have maybe some more.
I'm not
Springs
sure.
stuff, or do you
I like the fact
size?
that's different.
You like the two different,
Yeah, I think Palm Springs with all the images, yeah, I think it's just the welcomes you that is pretty bad.
Well, so if you look at the
You
notes.
don't like his handwriting?
I mean, it should not, I know it should be, I mean, you know what I mean. It could be in a red, juicy lipstick red or something.
Oh, yeah.
With some highlights.
Right, I see what you
If
mean,
you
like
look
the,
at point number 2, it says full float style welcomes you font. So I think he was going for some sort of like a
full floaties.
full floaty.
Okay.
So those look like highlights, I'm assuming it would come up.
Oh, those are highlights, you can barely see it, so
Yeah.
there's some highlights.
If you look at point number 2, full float style welcomes you font. Okay.
Yeah.
So is this something provisional, or how do we want to go about this? Do we want to vote on this today? Do we want to go back contingent on changes and feedback?
I think it's great. The only thing he needs to present us with a better idea of how the second panel would be. But I don't know.
I would suggest that since we have our next meeting in 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, whatever it is, if you could get him to make the revisions so that we all have a sense of how it's gonna look, we can approve it at that meeting, and then you can hopefully get it on an Arts Commission meeting shortly after that.
January.
Yeah. As I said, I want us to, I don't want this to have to be explained.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I see the highlights there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do we make a motion on this?
We don't need to do anything. We're not voting it. We'll be voting on it at the next meeting. Cool. Any other revisions so that we don't keep going back to the artist making him do things over and over again?
It doesn't look so bad there. Looks bad here.
So what are we doing, instead of polo?
Yeah.
Instead of polo, what did you suggest?
The hiker is a good idea.
I think, yeah, if you could get hikers in there,
Okay.
that would be good. And maybe do something so that the martinis look like a martini.
A smaller glass.
Well, I think it's a great concept,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, but the explaining is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna see the glass, just the olives.
Okay.
And I wanna see a Roadrunner here if I wanna be picky.
I was thinking about Roadrunner.
Yeah, I love those
There's a
guys.
Roadrunner on the Desert Glow mural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
There
the
were
same
road
thing.
runners on the mural we just approved.
Yes.
The mural we just approved, it looked amazing right here.
And they're
Take out
all,
the-
yeah, they're all over. I love these little Roadrunners.
Okay.
They could be in the second one.
Yeah.
Any other comments on this before we move on?
And do we want to do a precaution where we have revisions for the other one just in case, or are we? Is it, I mean, it's in the preliminary stages, I mean, artist objectives, so I don't know if we're presenting both, or if we're deciding we only want to present this one to the commission. To the council.
What could we revise on the other one to make people happy with it?
I still prefer it.
I can see why you prefer it, and I mean, I could see why other people would be able to prefer it also. But, I don't know, I just think they should be residents instead of staff. Cause when you go someplace, you want the people to welcome you. So I don't know if that's. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to convey that. But.
Can I just say, I mean, in terms of that, I get the second one we're talking about. Honestly, I got hung up on that woman's pillbox because that automatically put it in 1960. And I had, for me, I can't get past that because it just automatically, the fashion totally dates what that is. So I think what we're saying is that maybe if the people themselves look a little bit more current versus, and not like that they work at the airport, maybe that will be a simple enough solution. But again, the very first time I saw that graphic, I thought, oh, is that Jackie O? I mean, literally, that was the first thing, and I can't get that visual out of my head. And so I kept thinking, well, I don't even know whether she was even in this airport at that time. Anyway, so it was that was the little detail that I got hung up on because it totally dated that to the 1950s or 60s. And that's what I just think that we need to progress and move forward and not be in that time frame anymore. Anyway, that's just my opinion on that.
We have modernized the people.
So Chris, maybe talk to this artist and just say, modernize two of them, maybe keep the pilot. I guess that's a pilot with the airplane. I'm not sure. An airplane in his hand. Okay. Yeah, let's say modernize the other ones, make, groovy sunglasses or something.
Okay. Is there anything that we want to make note? Just again, going back to the prompt, incorporating the Valley's brand, rich cultural history, color, and inclusion. Speak to the diversity of the people in the greater Palm Springs. Is there anything that we want to suggest with this mural as well to maybe incorporate not just the airport, but activities and things that visitors might be seeing or experiencing? Because this is just the airport. Do we want to incorporate more?
Yeah, it goes into like putting stuff into their graphics also.
Right.
I think if we modernize these people, it's going to be even more boring because this image sells because it's retro, because it brings us to modernism, because it's what Palm Springs used to be.
I don't want to tell the artist to.
I think it's going to be completely flat.
Revise it, but we like your piece, but now completely change it.
Yeah, I mean, we are selling here the idea of the 60s and 50s.
So I think modernizing it a little bit is a reasonable request. Asking for him to sort of revise the whole vision for it by incorporating other elements might go too far.
Yeah, the charm is because it's retro, because
and it's playing off the location, which I like a lot.
Give the artist the opportunity to revise, and if they pass, then we'll just move forward.
Well, I like the graphics behind her on the top one versus having the dark background. That's a thing, and then the pill hat I think is another thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll go back to both artists. I'll give them the feedback, and then we'll go from there for January meeting. Great. Sound good?
Yeah. We're approaching our time. Let's move quickly. Crawler Downtown Park discussion. This is something that Jay and I have been going back and forth on via email, but I wanted to bring it forth to the commission as a whole. And this is one of the challenges that we're having with a lot of art installations. So we approved Crawler in the downtown park probably last March, April, something like that. And it's a significant piece. It's around $150,000. It's by Ryan Campbell, who's a notable artist in the Palm Springs area. And it would be a big multicolored sort of altar, if you will. And it was going to go where the car was installed. The car was removed, and then Ryan went to fabricate his piece of artwork, and it was discovered that we do not have engineering plans for that area. The engineering plans for that area that were done to install the car were apparently not fully complete. So we don't have anything for that area. To move forward, Ryan needs, and his estimates from an engineer to give an engineering report for this area. Ryan factored in $5,000, but it will be $15,000 to do an engineering report for that area. My personal feeling is that because this is city property, city should have engineering reports available for that area. That this is not the responsibility of the artist to find something. It is a, it's a building area. They should have it on hand and they should get it done, not charging the artist for it. And I alerted Jay, I said, Jay, I'm gonna talk about this in the meeting. I don't know what he can do, but he can give us perspective. But so we're at a standstill with this because it's either we wait for the city to approve $10,000 to move forward with this, or what, but this is a problem we're facing with a lot of these areas downtown. This is also a problem we're facing with a lot of installations where we need, as I said, to install lighting, where we need to install signage, where we need to install a platform for it. So it goes beyond just putting a piece of artwork someplace. As I said, we have to start factoring in roughly 20% more costs beyond the artwork. So even the Red Dragon, I'm going to jump around. So Red Dragon, that was done. That was a very nice little $5,000 grant we gave in Las Palmas did it. They were not aware that they were responsible for maintenance. So Jay and I spent our August, and Scott Stiles was involved figuring out how to get this done. And it was determined that we would then have them donate it to the city. And then it became part of our public arts collection. And then to do that, we're responsible for the maintenance of it. We're responsible for the signage and any lighting as well. Now that's just a way to get it done because the artwork was already done. So we need to consider this for every piece of artwork we start doing now in locations. So the fine people that hear from that did the presentation, if we move forward with that, take their numbers and add 20%. And we'll be responsible for that, of doing that for every piece. So the question then is, I'm going to ask Jace, how can we get around this with Ryan Campbell on there? Is that a city property that we should have an engineering plan for?
So just to address the engineering work in general, we are pursuing an engineer to review city artwork that will be on hand, on call and available. But we've been told that could still be a few months before that person's actually on board. So they probably wouldn't start for a few months to get started on that work. In regards to plans for the parking garage, I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, it's an older parking garage and the city purchased it from the mall when it was being used for the mall. But I think what Gary's alluding to is that, well, in improving the parking garage, there should have been plans. And so that's something that may still be out there. I don't know. But the feedback we've gotten so far is we don't have this information.
So moving forward, can we have the city pick up the cost of the engineering report rather than the artist paying for it or the artist commission paying for it? Because that engineering report will be useful for the city beyond public art.
Yeah. Well, having an engineering board will be useful for public arts commission. And when we say have the city pay for it versus the artist pay for it, it's the city's paid for it one way or the other because it's in the artist's budget. So
except it was 5,000 in the artist budget and it was
right.
15,000.
Right. And so that increase in cost, the question is, are you asking in this specific case if the artist should come out of pocket to pay for that additional 10,000? Yeah. That's
As I said, I personally think that if I'm an artist doing a piece that is going where there was a car there, one would think we had an engineering report to put a car there, but apparently we didn't. So it's not the artists who are budgeting. So why should he be penalized?
Right. It's a decision of the commission if you'd like to allocate $10,000 more. Because that's where the funds would come from, as opposed to having it come out of the artist's pocket to do the project.
So if we approve it tonight, and then it could just go to the city manager for approval to expedite it, so he can move forward, because it's going to be And we're delaying the project easily 3 months
That's it.
Yeah, it should be able to be approved administratively,
correct?
meaning, it is not
It's not,
commissioning an artwork, it is not commissioning a maintenance contract, it is part of the installation. So those two items I just mentioned are the items that are required to go to council. So.
And is there any water, if I can ask a question, in the fact that it held a car, it should be able to hold this as well? Is that not good enough
not good enough. He needs an engineering report to do the
to
installation.
do it? But the other.
Because every piece of, and again, pillars. So pillars, turns out they needed building permits to install them.
Mhm.
And we found out today they needed electrical permits if they have lighting. Again, these things that they weren't told in advance. So he needs a building permit to put this in place. To get a building permit, he needs an engineering report. So now again, this was 3 city managers ago.
Yeah.
2 building department people ago. maybe
Yeah,
3,
yeah.
I'm not sure. So I'm not questioning the process in place now. I just think we, as a commission, we have to stand with the artists and say, you should not be penalized for
Absolutely.
our
Exactly.
misstructure here.
Just a question about the process. So the engineering report is only needed because we're putting public art on the space. There would be no other reason to need an engineering report of that lot. And that's why it's falling to us to pay for it.
Well, this report isn't gonna be for the entire lot, it's just gonna be for the section where the art piece will sit. And, I believe, just to confirm, the substructure underneath where the art piece will go is strong enough to support the artwork. I mean, it's a 1,200 car garage, and, it spans pretty big.
So it's an evaluation for this specific use of the site.
Right, and I think, what, Jared was referring to was that even this section and the rest of the garage structure, we weren't able to identify or locate, plans for that.
And we weren't able to identify it because it wasn't done, or it was done and it's lost?
Ooh, don't
Don't
know.
know.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Can't find it.
Hmm.
And we even found, when I went to the museum and got their installation papers, because they installed the car,
Mhm.
but there was no engineering report attached. And there was nothing in City Hall staff files, but we're moving forward, we just need to, how long are we gonna delay this?
Right, in order. to move
And,
forward.
again, we all know there was a lot of messy stuff happening with COVID and shifting 3 managers and everything. Again, this is not blaming the artist. This is not blaming the commission. This is like, okay, we're here now. Let's make it as clean as we can and leave it in the best shape as possible for our successors. So if we need an engineering report, we need to get an engineering report so we can put art there.
And the piece that's gonna be commissioned there, that we need the engineering report, or refresh my memory on how long it's gonna be installed?
It was meant to be permanent.
Oh,
So.
okay, well, yeah.
Yeah, and this was, do you remember?
Okay, yeah.
The one that sort of looks like a big spider in a way, and you're like, oh, I wanna run and jump on it and play with it, and it's a beautiful piece, but it's just really unfortunate, the inside the sausage factories taking the joy out of it.
Right.
As I said, I'm just trying to get things cleaned up here.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So, and Jay's
sticky.
like heard me politely
Like, how did
screaming
yeah.
for a couple months now.
How did that get passed?
Okay,
Mhm.
so, can we make a motion to approve the money, the $10,000?
Yes.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to approve $10,000?
Make a motion to approve $10,000
for an engineering report
engineering report.
for the specific location? Do we need to say the location where crawler will be installed?
I think where the crawler will be installed, southwest corner of Museum Way and Museum Drive, I think is the way it's.
Yeah.
Which is going to be installed on the corner of Museum Way and Museum Drive.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second that.
That is a terrible motion. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
We can keep it clean.
Yeah, I just want things clean. Okay. Okay, we've got 15 minutes left. I want to sort of, I would jump over things so we can move them to the next meeting. There's a lot of updates we need to do. I'm going to skip over public art installation update discussion, and we will address it in January. Jay sent around the codes for public arts, the ordinances, the murals, everything like that. Did anybody have any questions on those?
We were just exchanging emails last week about those two projects, the Wyeth mural and the asphalt art update.
Yeah.
And Shauna was giving some information.
So, did anybody have any questions on the ordinances or mural ordinances? Everybody got them, read them, understood them. And I want to quickly remind that murals on buildings by private building owners, the process is they go through the planning commission. And then the planning commission goes through their whole approval process, what they want, and then they come to the art commission, much like the gentleman at the very beginning. So we did not solicit that, we did not anything, we just approve it for aesthetic reasons. So again,
I would just add on top of that, Mr. Chair, that murals have to be distinguished from signage and not advertise a business or commercial endeavor or product.
Yeah, it should not look like an ad.
And I just want to hop in there because I know there was an email. The Drift Hotel's currently going through a process of that, so I know that's kind of what they're dealing with.
Okay. Jump down Pillars of Palm Springs. I can be very quick. The winners were announced last week. There was some nice amount of press. It's moving forward. We're dealing with some updates. They need electrical. They need all these other things. So moving forward with that. But beyond that, there's nothing else to report at this point. Okay.
Do you mind if I just hop in there real quick? So I just wanted to make a couple notes just quickly on that. I know just internally from a few of the artists that have reached out, they were saying that I think the upfront, the upfront payment, they were saying is an industry standard, which I guess they've not having a problem with, and then logistically of the installation of 1 weekend versus having a few days to unveil.
Yeah, you should just have them send all their questions and comments to Jay on that, and that takes us out of that process. Perfect. He's been dealing with that, and I don't want to have a lot of he said, she said sort of thing happening. For sure. Because I do know that he had called with two of them and dealt with payment structures. The challenge with it was because this went through procurement. Procurement has different payment structures than we do as a commission. So they're trying to find a happy medium with that. Okay. But just as I said, send them all to Jay. Again, because we have to be very careful with what we're doing for payment because we're using tax dollars and everything needs to be. So if they contact you on not the city email that they provided us, that's probably a little sketchy. We shouldn't do that. It needs to go through that.
I think all the artists have been paid 50% of their agreement. So,
Beautiful Shade. I had a meeting at the Sustainability Commission. They love the idea of Beautiful Shade. The Parks Commission and the Parks Commissioner, the chair of the Parks Commission attended in full support. Everybody loves the concept. They want to find ways of doing it together. Sustainability has some questions on, could we do this with recycled materials? Could we do this with natural materials? So they're engaged in a lot of ways. So what I'm going to do in January is set up a sub-joint commission where we can work together on it. We will take the lead on it, and then they will sort of give their input. We have to be the leader on it, otherwise nothing will get done. So if anybody wanted to be a member of that process, let me know, and I will send an email around, and Jake can take it from that point, and you can just jump in. I think that this is going to be something that's sort of big in different ways beyond just public art, just getting, shade and everything. Oh, did everybody see the thing I sent around from Bloomberg Philanthropies? Jason did around this afternoon. They did it one city. They awarded big grants for shade structures. So.
Also, Gary, on that email, there's a bunch of different links. If you guys start following them all, there's some really cool graphics for asphalt.
Yeah.
art, that I thought was kind of cool. Anyway. And I will help you on that. I've just been through a weird time, so, but I'll jump on that commission with you.
Red Dragon donation ceremony, that is in January 10th. And I believe the mayor and Rhonda Hart will be there, Mayor Pro Tem, because it is his district. The Old Las Palmas Beautification Committee will be there as well. It's a beautiful piece. You should go take a look at it. And Barrett and I will be dealing with the signage. Okay.
Do you know the time again? He said it, right?
I believe it's 11:30.
Yeah,
11:30.
Yeah.
And where is that?
We'll send an email around with all the information. Okay. Asphalt art update.
Yes, that's what we're talking about. I know an artist that would be perfect for that, but next meeting, I'll bring the pictures and of his artwork.
Okay.
He's a Vietnamese artist and he worked in Singapore in several places doing exactly that. He can finish an entire painting with members of that community, of course, in one day. It's the Circle Project. I mean, it sounds basic. They primarily paint circles and they interact like teamwork and kids, adults, and he pretty much supervises everything. But the murals, I did with Desert X Project. I should bring the final mural the adults did, but it's beautiful. And it's a teamwork with the whole community. I think it'd be interesting. Great. But I'll be I'll bring next time.
Can I ask that you send that to Jane? He can circulate it prior to the meeting. Okay. The more we can see it before we discuss it, as you saw what we do with the mirror, we need time to process and think of things. So just send it. It would be great.
Sure.
And just to hop on that for number 4 and 5, because I know it's related. So Tuesday evenings are the meetings at the James O'Jesse Community Union Center. So been in touch, and in January, I think it'd be great.
It's the second Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll stand Sean will be there.
Perfect. And also for the asphalt art mural, deciding, because there was 2 locations on there. So we can chat more about that with them there.
And those 2 locations, they can shift if there's a location that, the community thinks is better. I think those were just put down when this was approved easily 15 months ago. So.
And also to have, I know that the community wanted a variety of artists. So to be able to show them a couple of artists and if there are artists in the community that either want to put in a bid or contribute to it, like that's really important for the community.
That'd be great
as well.
Yeah, the way you can handle that is sort of create a template. Say, here's what we're doing. Here's when we're targeting to get it done. It's almost like a mini call for artists in the area, and it can be posted in the community center. I'm sure our good friends at Palm Springs Post would promote it.
The Wyeth mural, we are still in the process of figuring out if another artist could paint the work. It's the very beginning, all right?
Yeah,
now it's been forward on this.
Well, it's been an ongoing conversation. I did see a tie list today that was sent around via the email too. So again, I think, this is something that we can also chat more with them when we're back there on the meeting in January.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, so the money that was approved for the mural, to repair the mural, that was money specifically to get Richard Wyatt to do it. So there was a premium there. So there, I would not go in assuming you have that same amount of money. It may be more, it may be less, but it needs to be thought of as a new project. So don't use that as a budget. Just come up with the best idea and then go from there.
But starting from the beginning and rewriting the whole thing and getting the community, because the community wants the Richard Wyatt mural.
So it would be, but he's ill, right? He cannot.
Right, but that's not going to stop them from wanting it, because they've been wanting it for over 10 years now. And it's kind of the Marilyn Monroe of that area, because it's so synonymous with history of the area that it's kind of, it feels like we are going to be gentrifying the area by removing that specific mural. And that's what I have heard over and over again what the community doesn't want. They rather have it the way it is than lose it altogether. So there has to be some kind of, happy medium that we can do here for the community, because you're basically asking them to remove a huge part of their history and identity.
So on one hand, you know, the allure of the mural was that it was designed by a famous muralist. And it was,
Famous artist
well, he's known for his murals.
also, but also art.
Yeah, but it's a mural by this famous muralist. The community helped put it together. The minute you then have somebody else redoing it, it's no longer his mural, because it will be somebody else redoing his mural.
Redoing mean retouching it or redoing something completely different?
You know,
That's
it's
cool.
Yeah.
And Richard Wyatt has like said, have somebody do it different, like that mural's done, but the community doesn't want to let go of it being done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the artist itself has said, you know, I would bless another artist to do it, but that's not what the community wants. So there has to be some kind of medium that we can meet, that it doesn't seem like we're going in and gentrifying the community.
So I think that January list.
Yeah.
Cover that.
So my technical recommendation, which I've been learning, dealing with Jay on a lot of stuff, is it's a big mural. A big mural of that size with something, if you decide to retile it and says we're gonna get this retiled, that then goes through procurement because of the price point. And when it goes through procurement, it is just whoever has the best bid and has the best technique. It may be a white artist from Phoenix, Arizona who wins. We can't say they need to be a certain race. We can't say they need to be a male or female. We can't say a certain age, anything. It's just judged through procurement. So, which is why it may be better to then find a specific artist to do it.
With the same subject matter and everything.
Maybe, or maybe not. Again, I don't have the answers to.
I mean, if they're so
if
proud
we
about
did,
the
we would have
subject
done it.
Yeah, I mean, it has to, those are things that we have to like, you know, let the community decide.
Yeah.
Because I know what they told me what they wanted. I got all the way to that point and then the artist couldn't.
So if you find a couple of artists that pretty much come up with ideas.
That have maybe that same energy, that same feeling,
Yes,
that same
yes.
kind of communal love, the same kind of pride. Yeah, I would hope that would be a step in the right direction, but we really have to, you know, the community doesn't want to feel like their art from their history being wiped away for some other, you know, homogenistic.
Yeah, it's, you know, I think,
It's a historical piece and the community doesn't want to lose that Black history.
so again, my two technical advice to you as a subcommittee is it should be decision and recommendation to the commission overall, a joint recommendation. So the conversation should jointly be with the community. I would be interested in doing a call for artists, but have an artist come and say, how would you preserve but update rather than do something else? Again, that's why they're artists, right? If you want somebody just to clean it up and do it, that's a tradesman. Get an artist to come and say, how would you preserve but update this in some way? And they may have an idea. I have no idea.
Yeah.
You know, and Shonda and I were talking, I think a couple of weeks ago about automotive paint does not fade. So you can, but to do something on automotive paint, you need to do it on a very, very sharp surface like stainless steel. So maybe you get some artist who's going to replicate this in automotive paint in pieces, big, like 6x6 pieces of stainless steel that are then grommeted to the side of the building. So it's doing a mural with automotive paint, and you know, you can do something interesting like that. It doesn't need to be, oh, let's just go to the default of a mosaic. Again, I don't know, but my inclination is to say, talk to artists and say, how would you preserve but modernize? And see what they come up with. I think, you know, if you went out there publicly, you can get some interesting solutions.
It's weird that there's not a code that would somehow protect those paintings. I mean, as far as the sun and everything, there's a code now for anti-graffiti now that no matter what you do, you can clean it up. But something to protect those murals.
Yeah, you know, look, it's a historic mural by a notable artist muralist. Unfortunately, it was done on the south side of the building. And the south side of the building is just having the sun shining on it all day.
And it's been there for how many years?
20.
Close to 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is something that they're really
Yeah.
proud of.
Yeah, I mean, it's been there since the 80s.
And there are clear varnishes that do have UV protection
Yeah.
these days, so that could
So
be
that
an option.
It's something that we can apply later on if
Mhm.
it's, yeah.
Or just right after to protect it, but.
It's been repaired once in the past 10 years when irrigation from landscaping ruined some of it, and they had to repair it. He came out and did it actually at that point. So, but you know, I don't want to say I like what he's saying about it's time for the mural to find a new life, but to me that gives you guys permission to come up with the best solution that you think represents the wants of the community, the responsibility of the art commission. You know, we can't really put money into something that will need to be repaired in 5 years. So,
Yeah.
We can, but we just choose.
Well,
We very much can, because we have.
we shouldn't put money
So
into
this
something that's
community should be an exception to the
300,000
rule.
into something to be repaired in 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want, because we don't want the community to suffer as long as they have.
Yeah, but know that it probably won't get kicked off for 18 months to get started. Okay. Jay, any report, or did you cover everything?
I believe we've covered everything, Mr. Chair.
Okay. One question for you. When I was at the Sustainability Commission meeting, they said that as of January, all commissioners had to be on the city email. Is that correct?
And how do you get access to that email? And how do we waste time?
Did we get an email about that at some point that I didn't act on?
You know,
I get an email.
there was an email sent out saying that city emails have been set up for commissioners. And I think there might have been a second email that said you should be using the city commissioner email moving forward. And
Can that be resent?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, wow.
But I think I might have missed it, but, it's just, I would say generally, yeah, plan on using the, city email, moving forward. And it's tough because when I search for your emails, you know,
Yeah.
you know, Gary at IMAC or Gary at PalmSpringCity.gov. So, you know, so it's just gonna take time for it all to start gelling and becoming one. So, yes, please do plan on using the city email. And you know, and even give that advice to staff, because if we start using our personal email for work, our personal email becomes discoverable. So all that information can be picked up in, you know, in a subpoena.
So pretty soon you will start sending us emails through the city email.
He has been.
He has been.
Yeah.
And I never checked.
I didn't
never checked.
Yeah, just be sure your emails are set up, and I will change the group email for Palm Springs Public Art Commission to be all of your city emails.
Yeah.
And can we also make a request that introductory email be sent out so people will be able to know how to get access to that email and how to reach that information, because
Maybe
that's.
did it already,
Yeah.
That one, I believe I can resend.
Yeah.
And I worked with the IT staff on a few things where, you know, we've had names misspelled and things like that. And you're not the only commission, so,
We are the only commission. We're the only commission that matters, Jay.
We're the best commission.
We are the beauty.
Thank you for that reminder.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Because that would help, I mean, then we'll be able to get correspondence out of.
And, you know, for example, Councilmember Holsted sent me an article on beautiful shade. Some shade stuff. So I think the more that we are on there, the council members and city staff that just send us stuff. She just forwarded it to me and thought, because she read the press on it.
And it'd be nice to be able to have all that stuff there, you know.
And honestly, you don't need to sort through all your Gmail stuff.
Exactly.
It's all your city or Arts Commission stuff is in one place.
And that's important. I like that. Thank you. I would just love.
So if everybody would get that set up, so that'll be in January. Anything else? No? Okay, great. I would like to make a motion that the Palm Springs Public Art Commission will adjourn to January 4th in the large conference, January 4th, 2024. To the large conference room in Palm Springs City Hall located at 3200 East Talkless Canyon Way. Anyone like to second that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that will be also 5:30, right?
Correct, 5:37. Okay. Very good.
And I'd also like the commission to have a magnificent holiday season.
Oh, yeah. Happy New Year,
Like,
guys.
really take this time
Merry
to
Christmas.
give yourself a pat on the back that you made it this far.
Oh.
With all the obstacles.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Well, have we stopped recording?